We're about to get going as the red lights come on. The engine notes rise for the Audi TT Cup here at Brands Hatch. Round 2 is a go. On race 1, Butler gets an absolutely storming start. Toff Jones having to defend hard against Richards and Marshall as they plummet into the paddock hill for the first time. Bit of off-track action in the background. I'm not sure who that is. I think that's Laramie out in the background, but Butler absolutely storming away from everyone. Toff Jones yet again having to defend from Richards on the outside of Druids. So that's an interesting sort of move, and that's a bit of an interesting dynamic as well, because it didn't look like Richards had the pace on Toff Jones ultimately, so he may well, although he's got a car ahead, be a cork in the bottle, but he doesn't. He dips the wheel on the outside of the circuit. His right-left wheel just dips onto the outside. It's so hard. There's no sort of easy braking zone at Brands Hatch GP, and after he did so well to get into second place, Richards ends up down in about 9th position now, struggling to stay in the top 10. There's a whole heap of cars, a whole host of cars, sorry, trying to get up the inside. Is Marshall, actually. We saw him absolutely flying in practice, 27 kilograms of ballast on board. Is Marshall second in the championship? He goes through to take second place, so twice in one lap. Toff Jones has lost second place to 2 different drivers.
Yeah, and that was a fine example of how the push-to-pass works, because Marshall was on the push-to-pass as he came out of Clark Curve, and he just drove past Alex Jones. But, you know, at the end of the day, Toff Jones has now got 14 push-to-passes left against Marshall's 11, so he's got a couple in the bank, so Marshall's going to have to be careful and defend hard.
Yeah, everyone, as we were saying before, but up the inside, in fact, goes Smith on Toff Jones, and Toff Jones has fallen down the order. He's lost out to championship leader Noller as well. They close up between Clark Curve, between Stapleford and Richards maybe well going for a move. He's got the he's not using the boost yet, actually. He's just been using the tow and sort of momentum that he carried through Clark Curve to get through and pass on Stapleford, who obviously did a really good job in race 2 last week. Yeah, Brennan with the push to pass on. It's not on anymore, but he's just done enough to get alongside. It's going to be very difficult to go around the outside of a driver here. He's going to really try it, though. There was always going to be a nudge of contact, and he's forced onto the grass. That could have ended an awful lot worse, but now Edmondson is going to try the move on him. He managed to fend off Edmondson's attack and approach.
Just seen Hayden's gone up from that 12th place he was in. He's up to 10th now, so he's made a couple of places up, as well as we're seeing Smith now on Marshall into the inside to put Druids.
Yeah, good move there done by Smith. Here goes Brennan. Noller's already activated his push to pass. Brennan is pushing to pass as well, shall we say, and he's going to be on the outside. Noller's going to defend exactly the same way that he did last time against Brennan. And here they go through Hawthorns. Brennan's learnt his lesson this time. Make sure he doesn't go flying around the outside. Try and get a good run through Hawthorn. And there is 2 potential overtaking opportunities through here, and if you get a good enough run, which unfortunately I don't think Brennan's quite close enough to do, you could try and force up the inside of Dingledell, but it is always a bit of a tricky one. It's a bit of a blind apex, isn't it, Steve? It's a difficult one to get the braking zone for, and then it's a blind apex, and you have to get the car right over for the left-hander to go back onto the Indy circuit. Yeah,
absolutely. It's a corner of faith. You've got to know when to turn in, because, like you say, it's blind, but it's so fast as well. You literally hop the curb on that corner. But as we see now, Brennan's on the inside and he's activated the push to pass, but so has Noller. So it's an equal drag race down to Paddock Hill now.
Yeah, actually, it might be advantage Richards to go 3 wide. Brennan on the inside of Paddock Hill. Noller on the middle. Oh, Richards just giving a push on Noller, who's actually going to be losing out on 2 positions. They're still 3 wide as they go into Druids. Brennan still on the inside. Pink in the middle. Pink on the outside. Grey on the inside. As Brennan gets that position done, Noller is actually just got his nose ahead going into Graham Hill Bend. He's going to be on the inside, and Richards has to... As you know, Richards is the driver who's up to 6th place, so Richards was on the inside of Graham Hill Bend, so all of a sudden Noller's gone from 5th down to 7th. Here goes Richards up the inside of Brennan. Brennan's going to be taking the optimal racing line as they break late. He's going to be on the outside. Richards slots his way through. Brennan tries to get the cut back. He managed to fend off Noller. Will he be able to go at the inside of Richards for the Druids? It's going to be tight. Richards runs a little wide. It gives him racing room, Brennan, but he's going to be on the inside for Graham Hill, so Brennan may well end up losing out if Noller tries to throw up the inside of Graham Hill Bend. Luckily, he doesn't, because that was always going to end in tears. But here goes Richards on the inside of Brennan, so Brennan's still trying to find a way past. He isn't able to do that, and then Noller's probably sat there thinking, what on earth do I have to do to find a way through these two, because it's pretty much impossible for him at the moment as they're going side by side nearly everywhere. But this is Brennan's opportunity, and I told you about the cutback. going through the right-handers, so important through Dingle Dell. He's got the inside, he tries to carry the momentum around the outside. Richards, I'll tell you what, that's absolutely brilliant racing room left by all three drivers, because that could end in disaster so easily, and we've seen it so often, even in real-life racing, how that can just end up with two cars flying off the edge of the circuit and straight into the Armco, which of course there isn't much of a gap between the Armco and the circuit, but they're back fighting each other yet again into Paddock Hill Bend. And I think this may be the last lap of the race, unless Butler's started with a couple of seconds to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Side by side through Paddock Hill again, just looking to see who gets the inside line now as they head up to Druids, and that's looking like it could be Richards and Brennan side by side again.
Yeah, Brennan actually did a really good job through Paddock Hill Bend to carry the momentum around the outside. He's actually going to have the momentum around the outside. There's a little bit of touching. There's even more touching. Nola's nudged Richards through, and nudged Richards round, I should say. And Nola ends up going up the inside of Richards. So Brennan finally got the move done after two brilliant sort of momentum carrying lines around the outside of Richards. It is the checkered flag for race one of the evening towards Butler, as he did check out just like he wanted to in his interview. From qualifying, from lights to flag, Butler is the race victor as they come across the line. Smith, Tough Jones and Marshall are the top four. But we are away for race two of the evening at Brands Hatch for round two, and it's a good start at the front of the field by Neil. Thorne as well having a good start, but up the inside goes Rich Hayden, flying up the inside of Paddock Hill Bend. We do love the action that these one-make series sort of throw up at us. It's all about driver ability and driving mistakes. As you see a bit of a mistake there as well at the top left of your screen. I think that was Hayden versus Edmondson, and Hayden did go just a touch wide. Edmondson tried to put his nose up the inside, but it wasn't quite happening for him as they go through Clark Curve. They're settling back down now. That Hayden's got a bit tank slapper. He's actually kept it in a straight line, but he's got off the circuit, so Edmondson does finally go through and take 8th position. Flitting to Brennan now as Marshall tries to fly around the outside. Smith is going to try and get his nose up behind Brennan to maybe force him off the track, and there goes Marshall. Being forced off the track, he's going to have the inside for Graham Hill Bend to defend into it from Smith, but this is sort of gold dust for Brennan. Front bumper's reminiscent of some almost Janetta Junior style action, isn't it, really, with the fact that they always lose their bonnets as well. Luckily, it's not flapping up and distracting him too much as he goes wide, and actually he may well lose out on Stapleford, who's going to fly up the inside into Sheen's curve, and he clips the inside. Nicely done. As long as he doesn't run too wide, he keeps it under control, and that's the position gone the way of Stapleford into the top 10 for the 14-year-old. Ways goes Richards through Clark Curve. He's going to come onto the Brabham Straight to finally take race two, checkered flag of the evening, and well, it's thoroughly deserved, going the way of Richards with a couple of push to passes left. Brennan in second place with Smith in third. Marshall comes over the line in fourth, and he has gained on his championship rival Nola, who is about to come across the line in 5th position.